Hello guys, welcome back to our channel Mo and Ash Vibes. We are back with another video. In today's video, we are going to talk about some tips that would be very helpful for you for your IELTS reading exam. Although I have made a detailed video of IELTS reading module where I have solved the sample test paper along with the explanation, but in this video, I decided to summarize some of the tips. This way, when you're actually going to sit for the exam, or even if you are going to do another sample test for practicing, you can just quickly go through some tips. But if you haven't still seen the detailed video, I have provided the link in the I button and also in the description box. Please go through that video and I'm pretty sure it's going to be really helpful for you as everything has been explained in detail. So let's get started. Whether you're going to sit for the academic test or general test, the basic general format of the reading test remains the same, which means in total you are going to get 40 questions, which would be divided into 3 sections, and you will have 60 minutes to solve those questions. In both the tests, the topics are taken from journals, magazines, extracts or some newspapers, etc. But the difference is that the topics that are selected for the general test are more generalized topics that you would encounter in an English speaking environment on day-to-day basis. However, the topics that are selected for the academic test are more appropriate for the students who are trying to get admission in university or college. But the basic format of the exam, as I said, remains the same, and the kinds of questions that are asked are also the same. So which means that you can use the same tips for both the exams, and also you can use the same technique or strategy to solve those questions. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some tips that are going to help you to solve those questions more quickly and efficiently. Now let's get to the tips. The first tip is to understand the question type and use the strategy related to the question type. Now in reading tests, there are many different kinds of questions that are asked. For example, there are multiple choice questions, there are true or false questions, and then there are diagram labeling questions, and just like that, there are many other kinds of questions. Now you cannot use the same strategy for every question type. So it becomes really important for you to understand that what kind of question has been asked, and then you use your strategy accordingly. For example, in some question types, you would be able to find the answers just by scanning or skimming the text. But in some question types, you will have to read the text in detail in order to find the answer. Similarly, in some question types, the answers will be located in the order of the paragraph. However, in some question types, the answers will be located in the random order. For example, in multiple choice questions, the answers are located in the order of the paragraph, whereas in diagram labeling, the answers are in the random order in the paragraph, which is why it becomes really important for you to understand that what kind of question has been asked, whether it's multiple choice or true or false or diagram completion or some form completion, and then use your strategy according to the question type. This will also help you to save some time. How? For example, let's say you have a multiple choice question or a true or false question, and you know that in these question types the answers are in the order of the paragraph. And let's say you have already found the answer of the first question in 4th line. So now you know that the answer to the second question will be after the 4th line, because the answers are in the order of the paragraphs. So you won't waste your time in reading the first 4 lines of the paragraph over and over again. This is how knowing the question type will help you save time, because then you can use your strategy accordingly. The next tip is that before you start reading the paragraph or the text, go through the questions first. This will not only save your time, but it will also help you in finding the answers more quickly. If you are going to read the question first, you would know that what information is required from the text. So now when you will read the text, you would know what information to focus on, and you would be able to locate the related information much more quickly. However, if you, let's say, read the text first, then after that, first you will read the whole text, and then you will read the question, and then you will read the text again to find the answer. So you're wasting a lot of time in the process. But if you read the questions first and then start reading the paragraph, then you would already know that what information you are looking for, and then that specific information will grab your attention and you would be able to focus on that. And this way you will save your time, and then you don't have to read the paragraph over and over again. So reading the questions before reading the actual text is going to be a very good tip for you, because it will help you save a lot of time. The third tip is that work on your vocabulary. Now, in a lot of questions, you will see that, let's say, a question has been asked to you, but when you are reading the text, you are not able to find the exact same words. This is because sometimes in the text, they do not use the exact same words. Instead, they use their synonyms. Synonyms are the same meaning words. So they would use a different word which means the same. And sometimes it becomes really confusing. However, if your vocabulary is good, and if you have a vast vocabulary, or your knowledge of vocabulary is good, then you would be able to understand that they have used a different word, but it means the same, and this way you will be able to find the answers. Another tip that I'm going to give you right now might sound to you contradictory to what I just said, but trust me, both the tips are going to be equally good. The tip is that do not stress too much on vocabulary and focus on the meaning of the text as well. In the reading module, the examiner is not only assessing your vocabulary, but he's also trying to assess that whether you can understand the meaning of the whole context or not, whether you can understand the gist of the paragraph, or whether you can figure out the central idea or the argument of the paragraph. So which is why, so sometimes what they do is they will paraphrase the sentence for you. So which also means that they would, let's say in the question they have asked you something, and the answer to that has been given in the paragraph, but the structure of the sentence is different, or they have paraphrased it. So in that situation, even if you do not understand the meaning of one particular word, do not stress too much about it, or do not panic, because you know, if the meaning of the whole sentence remains the same, so it really doesn't matter that you are not understanding that one particular word, because you can understand the whole meaning of the text. So both these tips you should keep in mind, which is you have to work on your vocabulary, because sometimes they use the synonyms of the words, so you should know the meaning. But sometimes there are very, very difficult words, and a lot of people do not know the meaning of those words, because some words are actually very difficult. So in that situation, do not stress, do not panic. If you are understanding the meaning of the word, and they have just rephrased the sentence differently, and the whole meaning of the sentence is the same that has been asked to you in the question, then just focus on the meaning, and then do not stress too much about just one word. The next tip is, do not get confused or fooled by the tricky words, also known as distractors. So what are these tricky words? So sometimes they ask you a question, and when you're reading the text, you feel like you have found the answer, because you feel like you have found the exact same line that has been mentioned to you in the question, and it feels like you have found the answer. But sometimes what happens is that in that same line, there is one word which changes the whole meaning of the sentence. And a lot of times people get confused by it, and they end up writing the wrong answer. So let's say you have been asked a true or false not given kind of question, and the statement is, Luke always eats pizza on weekends. Now when you are trying to read the paragraph, you find the statement, Luke often eats pizza on weekends. So now when they ask you reply true, false or not given, a lot of you might just reply to this question as true, because you are just focusing on that, oh yeah, Luke eats pizza on weekends. But what you are not noticing here is that in the question, in the statement where you have to reply whether it's true or false, they are saying Luke always eats pizza on the weekend. The word always has been used. However, in the paragraph, they have said that Luke often eats pizza on weekends. so they have used the word often. Now it might just sound like a small difference, but this one word will make a major difference and it changes the whole meaning of the text. When they are saying Luke always eats pizza, which means always means he's doing it every single time. But in the paragraph, when they are saying Luke often eats pizza on weekends, often means most of the time, more often. So the meaning has been changed. So in this case, the answer would not be true, but it would be false. So you see how just one small word has just changed the meaning of the whole sentence, and this confuses you. And they are called as distractors because they actually distract you and you end up writing the wrong answers. So you have to be very careful of these tricky words or the distractors. Another tip that I'm going to talk about is, again, which is the same as your listening module, that you read the instructions properly. When they are going to ask you a question, they are going to provide you with the instructions where they will tell you that how many words or numbers can you use for your answers. And for example, like in multiple choice questions, sometimes they ask you to select one best option, but sometimes they ask you to select two best options. So if you are not reading the instructions properly, then you wouldn't know that how many answers can you select or how many words can you select. And if you end up writing the wrong number of words or wrong number of answers, then in spite of your answer being half correct, it will be considered as completely wrong because you have not read the instructions properly. Since also there is no negative marking for the wrong answer, always attempt the question, because even if you write something wrong, you will still, if it's wrong, then you won't get marks for it, but you won't get any negative marking for it. So it's definitely worth guessing or giving it a try. So definitely attempt all the questions and do not leave any blank. The last tip that I'm going to talk about is something that I have experienced myself. It is totally based on my experience and it totally worked for me. Sometimes when we are sitting in an exam, we panic because obviously we are scared and we are in a very stressful mode, and sometimes we are not able to find the answers in the first go. So this creates a lot of panic. So in this situation, what I did was that if you know that you are doing a question type where the answers are in the order of the paragraph, but still you are not able to find the answer to, let's say, the first question, then in that situation, one thing you can do is that you work your way backwards, which means, let's say section 1 has 10 questions and it's a kind of question where the answers are in the order of the paragraph, let's say multiple choice question, and you are not able to find the answer to the first question and you are panicking. So in that situation, do not panic, because panic will add a lot of stress to you and it won't help you in any way. So in that situation, even after trying, you are not able to find the answer to the first, second question, then start working from question number 10. As you know, the answers will be in the order of the paragraph. So let's say if you have found the answer to the 10th question in, let's say, the 5th line from the bottom, then work your way upwards and try focusing on the 10th question, then 9th question, then 8th question. Sometimes this trick really works, and it surely worked for me. Again, if you are doing a question type where the answers are in the order of the paragraph, and if you're not able to find the answers from the top, try to work from the bottom and go backwards. So these are some tips that have personally worked for me, and the more I have solved the sample papers myself, I have realized that these are the tips that would definitely work. And also, that goes without saying that timing is extremely important. You have 40 questions to solve and you only get 60 minutes. But if you are using the right strategies, the right tips, and you are not panicking, and you have understood the question type, and you are prepared with your tips, I think you should be able to do just fine. So the key is, do not panic and make sure you are using the right strategies and keeping yourself calm, because if you are going to do all of those things, then definitely there should not be any problem and you should be able to do really well in your exam. So with this, I end our today's video. I really hope that this video was helpful for you. If you liked our today's video, please hit the like button and share the content. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button for more IELTS related video as well as informative videos. If you have any more questions, please feel free to comment in the section below and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Now I will see you in our next video. Until next time, ta-da!